Hello everyone and welcome to a game between Messiah versus an unknown Red Korean. This is, I believe, game 8 now in the King of the Hill series. The Korean King of the Hill series so far. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Messiah spawning on the bottom right hand side of the map as the blue Zerg. Meanwhile, the red Terran spawning over here as, well, the red Terran on the top left hand side of the map. So Terran versus Zerg here on Tal'Darim Altar should be an interesting matchup, as a lot of these games have been really interesting in this King of the Hill series so far. A lot of different strategies, and I'm really starting to like this clan war style just because I don't know what to expect from each of these players. Each player brings something new to the game, but then again, it is still all in a series together, so one game does affect the other, and it does affect the overall outcome, and it's just been very, very interesting to watch. Now, I don't know which team in particular is ahead or behind, just because they don't have the same clan tags. It may be a house King of the Hill of some sort. Well, then again, it could just be a straight up King of the Hill series. Now that we see also a barracks being placed on the front door. Drone looks like he will be doing some scouting. Drone, male, female, not quite sure. I always called her Daisy the Drone, or it Daisy the Drone. Meanwhile, Stevie the SCV, a little bit of a throwback for those of you guys who have been watching my cast for a little over a year and a half now. Stevie the SCV, Daisy the Drone, Peppy the Probe, as Messiah quickly checking that there is not any proxy racks on the front door. Drone making her way over to the far top left hand side of the map. We'll see where his opponent has spawned, getting a little bit lucky by checking cross spawn first, and we'll have a very good idea of what exactly the Terran player is trying to do. SCV battling up with the drone. The SCV does need to move away though, as we are going to have Marines now starting to train. It is going to be a little bit of bad news for the Terran player, as the Terran player is not going to really figure out what his opponent's doing for quite some time. He can try to scout out with an SCV, but even if he does that, oh, Marine chasing after a drone, is it going to be enough to finish it off? No, I do not believe so. The drone was able to now retreat all the way back home, down to 15, 16 hit points. Natural regeneration, never really in any danger of really getting taken out. Now, so far, we see that there is already an extractor up coming in for Messiah. He is going to be following this up with a spawning pool, and he should be very close to metabolic boost, and then perhaps pull off all of those drones on gas, and then try to play a little bit more defensively. Now, Tal'Darim, a map that's a little bit difficult for Zerg generally against Terran if it's not cross-spawn. This time it is cross-spawn, so it is going to be very, very even. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for siege tanks to get into this position here, and then the expansion, the third base, and even the optional fourth are rather out of the way, as opposed to trying to expand closer to your opponent. We are getting Marines up here and the command center, a factory now being placed down. No command center as of yet. I'm a little bit surprised about that, and now that I look at it, you can see that the Terran player is currently floating about 600 minerals. Not a good sign whatsoever, as the command center is now finally being built. It is delayed, and I believe the timing, at least this early in the game, should be spot on in this level of StarCraft 2. The players should know their builds, and they should know where exactly everything is in terms of their timing, when to set down their command centers, when to build supply depots. You can see the command center is being established now. We are training up 2 more Hellions, and a supply depot should be added. Otherwise, he is going to end up being supply blocked, as we are now going into Marines. Terran also floating a fair amount of gas at this stage in the game. He is floating about 200, so he may try to lift this up, turn this into a starport. Nope, it looks like he is just gonna nope, he's gonna lift it up, perhaps build a starport here, and then build a factory with a tech lab, as we now see Zerglings making their way across the field. The Zerglings going up against a lot of Hellions here, and this is not good news. Terran may end up being forced to just retreat all the way back. Not good news at all. Supply depot about to be completed. You can see the swap back here, and now this command center may even be taken down. The Hellions are now trying to come back home. They will be able to finish off some of these Zerglings, but a lot of damage has already been dealt. Messiah now with a clear advantage, 30 drones compared to 23 SCVs, a 15 harvester advantage. And now all Terran can really hope to do is play perhaps a little bit defensively, get tech labs, get siege tech, and then try to get up on 2 bases. SCVs now being transferred over here to the natural expansion. We are going to be getting up an orbital command, and now we see Zerglings still making their way across the field. I am a bit surprised by Messiah's current Zergling count. You can see that the Zergling count currently sitting at 14, and that is a lot of Zerglings for the early portion of the game. He could have had 7 more drones right now. So every pair of Zerglings made is a drone not made, and essentially a drone destroyed at this point, as those Hellions are now backing off. So it looks like Messiah may perhaps try to just macro up a little bit. He is getting up that macro hatch here, that 3rd hatchery, which is very, very important. And now Marines quickly cleaning up a Zergling before it's able to get inside, as Messiah now moving in with an Overlord. The Overlord timing should be able to scout out and figure out what exactly the Red Terran is trying to do. Taking a look at the main base, we also see a tech to tier 2 and going into Banelings now after he had scouted out a lot of barracks. So by seeing a lot of barracks, he is building the proper counter, and now we see a very, very heavy macro army coming in from red. So the Red Terran pushing out with 2 siege tanks, has a couple SCVs, but the key question here, or the key thing to note, is that there is no medevacs, no stim, and no combat shield. So the Marines, if they try to siege up on creep, will get easily destroyed. They will not be able to run away from Banelings all too easily unless they scanner sweep there. 1 queen easily destroyed there. A little bit of a misplay by Messiah that time. He knew that the army was already coming in, and the siege tanks already getting in position at the 10-minute mark. This is rather aggressive, and it actually may work out. The 1 spine crawler now trying to back off here. It looks like it will take a lot of damage. The Marines are now trying to pull back as well. The siege tanks perhaps need to focus down. Oh, nice Baneling hit, and it looks like this attack will get countered. The siege tank is going to try to back off here. It is taking up a lot of damage, down to 44 hit points. And now the spine crawler once again moving forward. This is going to be interesting, as the Marines, are they going to be able to see up onto the high ground? Yes, they do see up onto the high ground there. Marines and Overlords are all just going to try to shoot back the spine crawler. Down to 4 hit points. There it goes, as we now see Zerglings pushing their way through, trying to destroy the siege tanks at the front. The siege tanks are all in the red or orange. This is not good news. But right now, all red is really doing is some superficial damage to some hatcheries. Drones now finally coming off the mineral line. Banelings may be able to find their target. There is 1 destruction, 2 destruction, 3 siege tanks now all cleaned up. Nicely played by Messiah, as he now transitions into Mutalisk. Currently sitting on about 600 gas. He should be able to get up that Mutalisk count fairly quickly. And now it's going to be up to red to try to stay in this game. He is getting combat shields still. I do not see stim. And more importantly, I don't see any engineering base, so we are not going to have any missile turrets. Without stim, even if you have a fair amount of Marines, you are not going to really deal the necessary damage to shoot down those Mutalisks and be able to even catch up to those Mutalisks. Stemmed Marines do not move faster than Mutalisks, but Mutalisks will be able to really outrun those Marines simply by their movement speed. Zerglings now look to take down the destructible rocks here. It looks like a 4th hatchery will be placed down by Messiah. Harvester count is 40 to 45, so that timing on that attack was very, very nice by the Red Terran to get back into the swing of things, taking down a lot of drones, as now Marines pushing back to Mutalisks, but Messiah may have tipped his hand. A new round of Marines, SCVs, and siege tanks making their way across the field, but Messiah, with total map control, should be able to respond and react accordingly. We are going into the starport, triple missile turrets now, and we'll see what's going to happen here. It looks as though the Marines and the siege tanks, perhaps a little bit spooked by something on the field, deciding to retreat back, and we're going to see a nice play by Messiah, or sorry, the wrong play by Messiah, now that I think about it, as the Red Terran player forced a lot of Zerglings to be trained. Perhaps he knew that his opponent had controlled a lot of these Zelnaga towers, and by moving out halfway across the field, it forced actually like 18 Zerglings to be trained. And now you can see that he is still behind in terms of workers. 43 drones versus 51 SCVs. A very small cautionary army moving out only to force his opponent to drone up a little bit more, and then taking the opportunity to perhaps take down some destructible rocks. Zerglings and Mutalisks are making their way in, and the Mutalisks are trying to perhaps deal a little bit of damage here. One orbital command may fall as the Banelings are now trying to make a roll through, making sure to quickly scanner sweep, making sure that there are no burrowed Banelings here. A siege tank now trying to make its way out as the Mutalisks, Zerglings, and Banelings are all trying to find different places to go. One splash hit there, but I believe the SCVs are going to be able to finish that off. Mutalisks backing around, retreating back home, and Messiah did not deal as much damage. And what looked like what would be an easy game for Messiah now turning into a very nice Zerg versus Terran. Stim about halfway done. We are getting into more Banelings though, and it's really going to come down to proper sieging. Oh, a nice Baneling hit there, destroying multiple Marines. And this is always going to be a problem. Forcing the use of scanner sweeps for the Terran. Medevac's now trying to heal back up. There are Banelings burrowed off here. There is a Zergling here. And these Banelings will perhaps get another hit sometime soon as the SCVs are now rounding around the corner. Banelings deciding to back off. Where are those Banelings going to be burrowed? Right on the ramp, but that is just a very obvious location. Oh, another hit! And wow, those Baneling bombs or those Baneling landmines have really been doing their job, cleaning things up. The Banelings now hitting up all of the rest of the Marines, and the Mutalisks are going to finish up the siege tanks and the rest of this attack force here. So beautiful play by Messiah, and that is something to behold. If you are a Zerg player, if you are a Terran player, I feel sorry for you, because sometimes you just end up losing a lot of Marines simply by trying to move out into the field. And I can only imagine what will happen in Heart of the Swarm if Baneling movement while burrowed is still in the game. Zerglings, Mutalisks now making a quick flight across the map. We're going to see a lot of Marines here, and we're going to see what these Zerglings are going to do. Mutalisks now trying to find their way into the natural expansion once more. Siege tanks are in position. The Mutalisks doing a good job staying right outside the range of the missile turret and getting some easy damage off of the glaive worms onto SCVs. Marines now trying to chase after those units there, and this may become really bad as the Marines are not able to engage where they want to, and now just simply going to get surrounded and eaten up by those Zerglings. Messiah getting back into this game with those Baneling landmines, and now I would say in complete control as he has pushed back. Messiah is establishing up his 4th base, his 5th hatchery, establishing at the 6 o'clock position, and now the destructible rock needs one more shot to be destroyed. It looks as nope. Is it gonna get? It looks as though the Marines actually never shot at the destructible rocks, but the glaive worms from Messiah did it for him, as we are now going to see the orbital command completely taken out. Down it goes. A scanner sweep does catch a couple Banelings as they were burrowed, and now Marines and SCVs transferred over to an orbital command that is no longer there. Evolution chamber now being added, level 2 or level 1 armor upgrades being added once more. Pathogen glands also, as we are going into hive tech, and I'm curious as to if Messiah is really gonna go heavy into infestors, as he is really gas limited right now because of the number of Mutalisks he has. 19 Mutalisks in the air. No sign of any Thors coming in anytime soon. There is some missile turrets nearby, but even then, that missile turret is not going to really be able to deal enough damage to finish off any Mutalisks here, as the Mutalisks are going to town inside the production zone, taking down the key reactors first. Reactors always a very important building to take out, as we see Banelings did not find their mark that time. Now, Mutalisks continue to destroy and take down Marines as they are being trained. It looks as though the siege tanks are coming around the map once more. Zerglings getting up onto the high ground. Banelings may try to burrow. Are they going to burrow is the key question. Yes, we are going to have one burrowed Baneling, and now Banelings moving away. Scanner sweep could be coming in, or it looks as though there was a good retreat. No, there's the Baneling hit once more, as the Mutalisks are still destroying a lot of the production. Siege tanks and Marines still filing in. More and more Banelings just burrowed all the way across. It looks like one medevac drop will clean up the 6 o'clock expansion. But so many production buildings have already been lost. Not exactly sure what the Red Terran player expects to do. Even if he trades right now, and even if he trades efficiently, he will have to trade almost 2 to 1 in order to really have any chance You can see that Messiah could easily just macro back up. He does have 5 larvae. That's not too many, as the Marines are now pushing into the main base here. Mutalisk still taking down a lot of the production buildings here. It doesn't look very, very good, but we'll see what's going to happen as the Zerglings now swarm in. Banelings may be able to find their target. No, very nice Marine split, and minimizing the damage on those Banelings, but there is the GG. So Messiah taking the game here. A very, very well played game by Messiah. Those Baneling hits absolutely clutch, dealing a lot of damage, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So Messiah will once again be playing in Game 9 in this series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the series, and I hope to see you guys on Battle.net and perhaps at a future MLG event.